Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap on BloombergQuint. Let's take a look at how markets have fared today and what they have done through the course of the week. And I'm going to start with the little bit of weakness that we saw in today's day of trade as far as the benchmarks are concerned, down by around 0.5%, with the likes of Bharti Airtel and Yes Bank advancing, but not too much to speak for otherwise in terms of momentum on the upside. On the lower end, however, GAIL continuing to decline 6% today. IndusInd Bank, Bharti Infratel and Power Grid also under a tad bit of pressure, with Eicher Motors declining down 3%. Let's take a look at the NSE 500, perhaps the broader markets, where once again the index has also moved in tandem with the benchmarks, but Jindal SAW, Deepak Nitrite, Aegis Logistics along with Take Solutions all advancing by a good margin. And on the losing end, of course, Vodafone Idea down 24%, Eris Life Sciences losing out 11%, and the likes of IFCI, PC Jeweler and Pfizer Limited declining by around 8 to 9%. But that's as far as today's day of trade is concerned. What about the course of the week? Well, it was a full trading week. We did see Nifty eventually close with marginal gains. UPL, Bharti Airtel and Hindustan Unilever stood out along with Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. But on the losing end, IndusInd Bank, Mahindra & Mahindra and Tata Steel largely weighing down on the indices. What about the broader market index? That's the NSE 500. That actually landed up in red, with while Tasty Bar Eatables and Aircon International along with Shilpa Medicare did advance quite substantially. Affle India also advancing by around 16%. We did have weakness in Vodafone Idea, Gayatri Projects, Care Ratings, Jammu and Kashmir Bank along with General Insurance Corporation of India, all of them losing out by as much as 20%. That said, let's take a look at all the events that shaped up the markets. Starting off on Monday, AMFI reported that inflows in equity mutual funds jumped the highest in 5 months in January. On Tuesday, Arvind Kejriwal secured a third term as Delhi Chief Minister. Aam Aadmi Party got a decisive mandate after it won 62 out of 70 seats. BJP won the other 8. Infosys said that it will acquire Simplus, a leading Salesforce consultant and advisory firm in the US and Australia, in a $250 million deal. On Wednesday, we got two setbacks on the economic front. CPI inflation rose to nearly 7.6% in January, the highest since May 2014, while industrial output fell 0.3% in December. Wockhardt agreed to sell 15% of its business to Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, and the deal includes select divisions of its branded generics business as well as manufacturing facility. And Yes Bank delayed its reporting of its third quarter earnings to March, says it's reviewing non-binding expressions of interest from 4 investors. The cabinet approves infusion of 2,500 crores into 3 public sector general insurers to help them meet their buffer requirements. And on Thursday, S&P retains India's sovereign ratings at BBB- with a stable outlook, says the country's GDP will recover gradually to a longer-term trends in 2 to 3 years. And Vodafone Idea reports another loss and reiterates that it's getting increasingly difficult to continue as a going concern. Now, these are just some of the events that shaped up our markets, but what about the technicals? How are the options markets, and what is the options market indicating to us when it comes to the benchmark Nifty as we move into trade next week? So it's a 500-point range, nothing much has changed, with maximum open interest remaining with the 12,000 put on the lower end and the 12,500 call on the higher end. We will have a significant amount of, resistance on the higher end around 12,300, 12,400. But for now, it's the 12,500 mark, which we are watching out for as we move into trade next week. And speaking of next week, let's also talk about the events that will shape up next week. In fact, let's start off with Sunday, the 16th of February, where Arvind Kejriwal will be sworn for the third time as the Chief Minister of Delhi. The ceremony will take place at Ramlila Maidan. On Monday, Supreme Court will hear petitions against Shaheen Bagh protests, and on Wednesday, minutes of the latest FOMC meeting will be released. And on Thursday, minutes of the Monetary Policy Committee will also be released. So those are some of the economic variables that we can watch out for as we move into trade next week. But on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.